People have somehow convinced themselves that a hotel room is a blank canvas for their personal grievances, a stage for reimagining how the entire service industry should operate. What you're about to witness is a carefully curated collection of the most delusional, entitled, and reality-defying complaints ever lodged against hospitality workers. People doing their jobs while guests actively invent new problems that simply don't exist. If you still believe in the basic goodness of humanity by the end of this video, I genuinely haven't done my job. Let's begin. Number 1. A guest arrived at a mid-range hotel and immediately called the front desk to complain that the room was too quiet. He expected ambient noise, specifically traffic sounds from the nearby highway, because that's what he was accustomed to at home. The hotel was built specifically to reduce outside noise. He wanted them to somehow amplify street traffic into his room during his stay. Yes, someone demanded a hotel install fake highway sounds as a feature. Number 2. A woman booked a room with a city view and spent an entire day photographing the skyline from her window. She then complained that the view ruined her sleep because she kept getting up to take pictures. Not once did she consider closing the curtains. The hotel was responsible for her inability to stop admiring the view she paid extra to have. Number 3. A guest called down to complain that his ice bucket was too cold. He had filled it with ice, which is the only purpose his ice buckets serve, and was shocked that holding it caused his hand to become uncomfortable. He demanded the hotel provide a different bucket that would keep ice cold without being, quote, dangerously frigid to the touch. Physics would like a word. Number 4. A couple booked a standard room and then complained that it wasn't spacious enough for their wedding night. They demanded an upgrade because their romantic evening required more square footage than what they'd paid for. The hotel offered to move them at no charge. They refused, demanded a full refund instead, and still left a 1-star review claiming they were deceived about room size. Number 5. A guest complained that the hotel's alarm clock was too advanced because it had a snooze button that he couldn't figure out how to operate. Rather than say, reading the manual or asking for help, he demanded compensation for emotional distress caused by the clock. He was offered a replacement, a much simpler model. He complained that the simpler one was insulting to his intelligence. Number 6. A woman arrived and immediately complained that the bathroom mirror wasn't magnified enough for her makeup application. The hotel provided a small magnifying mirror within the hour. She returned it, claiming it made her face look too real, and that she preferred to apply makeup while looking at a distorted version of herself. Apparently, hotels should now provide aspirational reflection technology. Number 7. A guest spent 40 minutes on the phone with the concierge because the hotel restaurant served too many vegetarian options. He was worried about the moral character of an establishment that would make such a choice. He demanded they remove half the vegetarian dishes and replace them with meat. The restaurant declined. He left a review calling them morally confused. Number 8. A man complained that his room key card wasn't gold-colored enough. He'd paid for a standard room but felt that the key should indicate he was a person of importance. He demanded the front desk issue him a gold key card to match his self-image. When they declined, he accused them of discrimination based on his financial status. Number 9. A guest from the north complained that the hotel in the south was too warm at night, even with the air conditioning on full blast. Instead of accepting regional climate, he demanded the hotel maintain an Arctic temperature to match his comfort standards. His complaint was that the natural heat of the region itself was a service failure. Number 10. A woman called to complain that the hotel towels were too white and made her room look like a hospital. She requested darker towels for aesthetic purposes, but when the hotel offered to exchange them, she complained that they looked too sad. Apparently, her emotional relationship with terry cloth is the hotel's responsibility. Number 11. A guest complained that the hotel's Wi-Fi password was too long and difficult to remember. He demanded they create a simpler password for his benefit alone, not understanding that security exists for everyone's protection. When they refused, he tried to bill the hotel for the mental strain of remembering 8 characters. Number 12. A woman arrived with 4 large suitcases and immediately complained that the room's luggage rack was too small. The hotel offered to store extra luggage at the front desk. She refused, claiming that having her belongings out of sight would cause her anxiety. She then complained about the cluttered appearance of her room. Number 13. A man called the front desk to demand that they adjust his mattress firmness to match his specific preferences. When told that mattresses are fixed structures, he asked if they could somehow soften the springs from underneath. He refused to use the extra pillows or toppers available, insisting the actual mattress infrastructure be altered during his 2-night stay. Number 14. A guest complained that the hotel's printed information on the nightstand was printed in a standard font that looked too commercial. He requested they reprint all materials in a custom, handwritten style, just for his room. The materials were informational documents, not art installations, but apparently, typography was now a service standard. Number 15. A woman booked a room facing the pool and then spent an entire day complaining about the sound of children playing in the water. She expected a hotel with a family-friendly pool area to somehow keep children silent during daytime hours. When offered a room on a different floor, she refused, claiming the inconvenience of moving was worse than the noise itself. Number 16. A guest called to complain that the coffee in his room was too hot. Not dangerously hot, just hot, as coffee typically is. He demanded the hotel provide pre-cooled coffee or set up a cooling system. When they offered ice on the side, he complained that ice dilutes the flavor, somehow expecting steaming hot coffee that's already room temperature. Number 17. A man complained that the hotel's elevator was too slow and demanded they upgrade to a faster model immediately. He was staying for 2 nights. The hotel wasn't undergoing a renovation. Apparently, the pace of modern elevators was personally insulting to his schedule. Number 18. A woman arrived and complained that her room didn't have a bathtub with a specific brand of bath salts she preferred. The hotel offered to purchase them for her. She declined, saying that the effort of the hotel buying them instead of them already being there was the problem. The hotel's failure to read her mind was unforgivable. Number 19. A guest complained that the air conditioning was too efficient because it cooled the room too quickly, and he found the speed of temperature change disorienting. He requested they adjust the AC to cool at a slower, more gradual pace, as if that's a feature that exists. He also complained when they didn't accommodate this impossible request. Number 20. A woman booked a room and then complained that the window faced the parking lot instead of the street. The hotel had explicitly shown her the view during booking. She demanded a refund for the damaged experience. Though the room had functioned perfectly, it simply wasn't the view she'd retroactively decided she wanted. Number 21. A guest called to complain that the hotel's Wi-Fi was too strong and making him uncomfortable with its electromagnetic presence. He had no medical basis for this concern. He demanded they reduce the signal strength to a level that would make the Wi-Fi completely unusable for everyone else on the network. Number 22. A man complained that his room number was unlucky because it contained the number 4, which he associated with bad fortune. He demanded the hotel give him a different room with a more auspicious number. When told that building architecture doesn't accommodate superstition-based room assignments, he demanded a refund for the psychological damage. Number 23. A woman arrived and complained that the room was too clean. She claimed the smell of cleaning products was off-putting and demanded the hotel stop maintaining her room entirely. She also complained 3 days later that the room was getting messy, apparently expecting a magical, self-maintaining space with zero odor. Number 24. A guest complained that the hotel restaurant's menu had too many options and that choosing was mentally exhausting. He demanded the restaurant limit the menu to exactly 5 items so that decision-making would be simpler for him. The restaurant had 100 other guests with different preferences, but apparently his cognitive comfort was their only concern. Number 25. A man called to complain that the hotel's front desk staff said hello instead of good morning during the afternoon. He felt this was a breach of his trust and demanded they be retrained to acknowledge the correct time of day. He left a review claiming the hotel had linguistic standards issues. Number 26. A woman complained that the curtains in her room didn't completely block out light because a tiny sliver of daylight was still visible at the edges. She demanded the hotel install blackout curtains that created a level of darkness that would block light from multiple sides of the window. When told they'd already used blackout curtains, she claimed they were defective. Number 27. A guest complained that the hotel bed was too firm and caused his back pain. The hotel offered 3 different mattress toppers. He rejected them all, claiming they would make him too comfortable and that his back pain was somehow the correct amount of pain to be in. Number 28. A man arrived and immediately called the front desk to complain that the room had too many windows because it was overstimulating. He requested the hotel cover some of them up. When offered curtains, he complained that having the option of windows was still psychologically burdensome. Number 29. A woman booked a room during peak season and complained that the hotel was too busy with other guests. She demanded the hotel comp her room because the existence of other paying customers was ruining her experience. She also asked if they could kindly reduce their customer base for the duration of her stay. Number 30. A guest complained that the hotel's front desk staff were too cheerful and that their positive attitudes were exhausting to be around. He demanded they adopt a more monotone, disengaged demeanor specifically to match his emotional state. When they maintained professionalism, he claimed they were being passive-aggressive. Number 31. A man called to complain that the hotel's alarm clock had a light on the front that glowed faintly in the dark. He was being watched by the clock and found it invasive. The clock was off and the light was barely visible. He demanded the hotel provide a clock from the 1970s with no electronic display whatsoever. Number 32. A woman complained that the room's door handle was too shiny because it reflected her image back at her in an unflattering way. She demanded the hotel replace the doorknob with a matte finish so that she wouldn't have to see herself as she entered and exited her room. The hotel suggested she simply not look at her reflection. She filed a complaint against them for that suggestion. Number 33. A guest complained that the hotel's toilet made a specific sound when flushing, and that sound was psychologically triggering. He demanded the hotel replace all toilets in his room with silent models. When told that some sound is inevitable in plumbing, he accused the hotel of gaslighting him about his own experience. Number 34. A man arrived and complained that the hotel's walls were too thin because he could faintly hear his neighbor's televisions at normal volume. He demanded soundproofing be installed in his room during his 3-night stay, not understanding that wall density is determined by building construction, not guest preference. Number 35. A woman complained that the hotel's breakfast had too much variety because it was making her breakfast selection process take longer than she wanted. She demanded the hotel serve only one breakfast option, her preferred option, while still maintaining the illusion of choice for other guests. She couldn't explain how that would work. Number 36. A guest called to complain that the room temperature felt uneven because one corner was slightly warmer than another corner. He demanded the hotel install an entirely separate climate control system for different zones within his single room. When they explained that thermal distribution in enclosed spaces is how physics works, he demanded a refund for scientific incompetence. Number 37. A man complained that the hotel's shower had too many pressure settings and that having options was making him anxious about choosing wrong. He demanded the hotel remove the adjustable shower head and install a fixed shower with exactly one pressure level. He also later complained that the pressure was too high. Number 38. A woman arrived with a specific pillow from home and complained that the hotel's pillows didn't match the vibe of her personal pillow. She wanted the hotel to donate the hotel pillows to charity and replace them with pillows that matched the aesthetic of her own. She was staying 2 nights. Number 39. A guest complained that the room's light switches were in the wrong place because they weren't positioned exactly where he expected them to be. He demanded the hotel relocate the electrical switches to match his muscle memory from his own home. When told this was impossible, he claimed the hotel was antagonistically designed. Number 40. A man called to complain that the hotel's elevator was too smooth because the lack of jolting made him feel like time was moving slowly. He requested that the elevator be adjusted to have more dynamic movement to make his 3-floor trip feel more eventful. Number 41. A woman booked during summer and complained that the air conditioning was cooling her room too quickly, which she felt was wasteful. During winter, she booked again and complained that the heating was too slow, also claiming it was wasteful. Apparently, the hotel was simultaneously too efficient and not efficient enough. Number 42. A guest complained that the hotel's bathroom tiles were too slippery and demanded the hotel install carpet in the bathroom to match his home. He didn't consider mold, moisture, or basic bathroom hygiene. The hotel offered a rubber mat. He complained that it looked temporary. Number 43. A man arrived and complained that the window in his room showed buildings instead of nature. He demanded the hotel somehow relocate a downtown property to a rural area or provide him with a synthetic nature view. When offered a different room with a better view, he complained about the inconvenience of moving his belongings. Number 44. A woman called to complain that the hotel's room key card was too flimsy and felt cheap in her hand. She demanded they provide a key card made from better materials. Not understanding that the material directly affects the card's durability, she wants both sturdiness and cheapness, which apparently the hotel was personally refusing to provide. Number 45. A guest complained that the hotel's ice machine made ice in the shape of half moons, and he preferred fully rounded ice cubes. He demanded the hotel replace the ice machine with one that produced his preferred shape. When told that ice shape has no functional difference, he claimed the hotel was being dismissive of his personal preferences. Number 46. A man called to demand that the hotel dim the lights in the hallway outside his room because they were too bright and affecting his sleep from inside his closed room with blackout curtains. He wanted the hotel to reduce safety lighting in common areas for his personal comfort. When they declined, he accused them of choosing profit over guest safety, his safety specifically, which was somehow endangered by adequate hallway lighting. Number 47. A woman complained that her room's air vents were too loud because she could hear air moving through them. She demanded the hotel seal the vents and provide alternative cooling. She also complained 40 minutes later that it was stuffy, apparently expecting silent air movement. Number 48. A guest arrived and complained that the hotel's door opened too easily because the hinges weren't tight enough. He demanded they tighten the hinges so that opening the door required significant physical effort. When they did, he complained that it was too stiff and demanded they loosen them again. Number 49. A man complained that the room's electrical outlets were too accessible and that their visibility was psychologically disruptive. He demanded the hotel cover them up or move them. When offered outlet covers, he claimed that covering outlets was making the problem worse. Number 50. A woman booked a room that was explicitly marketed as cozy and complained that it was too small. She demanded the hotel reimagine the architecture of the entire room to feel more spacious while maintaining its actual dimensions. She wanted a small room that somehow felt large, but only through some unstated magical means. Number 51. A guest called to complain that the hotel's water pressure in the shower was too consistent. He wanted the pressure to fluctuate throughout his shower to keep him engaged. When told that consistent water pressure is actually a feature, not a bug, he demanded the hotel install a malfunctioning shower head. They declined. Number 52. A man arrived and complained that the room was too quiet at night because there was no ambient noise. He'd also complained at number 1 that a different hotel's was too quiet, but apparently every hotel must somehow produce the exact noise level he retroactively decides he needs. He requested the hotel play white noise in his room, then complained that white noise was too artificial. Number 53. A woman complained that the hotel's Wi-Fi signal was too slow despite running speed tests that showed it was faster than her home internet. She demanded the hotel upgrade the entire system to be at least 3 times faster without explaining why or providing a use case that would actually require that. The hotel offered to move her to a location with better signal. She claimed moving would be traumatic. Number 54. A guest complained that the hotel's check-in process was too efficient because it took only 5 minutes. He felt rushed and demanded the front desk staff slow down and engage in more leisurely interaction with him. When they complied, he complained that they were being slow and incompetent. Number 55. A man called to complain that the room had a door because doors created psychological boundaries he found alienating. He wanted the hotel to remove the door and replace it with a beaded curtain so that he could feel more connected to the hallway. The hotel declined to remove his only barrier to the common area. Number 56. A woman arrived and that the hotel's bed had too many pillows. The hotel offered to remove them. She refused, claiming that having the option of extra pillows was cluttering her decision-making process. She wanted the pillows to exist but also to not exist. Number 57. A guest complained that the hotel restaurant served food too hot in some cases and too cold in others, depending on the type of dish. He demanded that all food be served at exactly the same temperature, apparently wanting soup at the same temperature as salad. When offered to cool down his hot dishes, he complained that reheating was destroying the integrity of food. Number 58. A man called to demand that the hotel provide him with a personal assistant for his 3-night stay because doing things himself was exhausting. He wasn't paying for any additional service. He simply felt the hotel should provide a human to follow him around and handle basic tasks. When they declined, he claimed he was being abandoned despite having booked a standard room. Number 59. A woman complained that the hotel's room number was bad luck and demanded the hotel give her a free upgrade to a suite as compensation for the psychological damage of having lived in an unlucky room number for 8 hours. She had booked the room online and accepted the number during check-in. The damage was retroactive and entirely self-inflicted, but apparently, the hotel should financially apologize. Number 60. A guest arrived and demanded that the hotel staff predict his needs before he expressed them. He wanted them to intuitively understand what he wanted without communication. When the staff asked what he needed, he claimed they were being invasive. When they didn't ask, he complained they were ignoring him. There was no possible action that would satisfy him. Number 61. A man complained that the hotel's exterior design was too modern and didn't match his preferred historical aesthetic. He demanded the hotel facade be redesigned to look like a Victorian mansion, while remaining a functional hotel with modern amenities. He was also unhappy about this being impossible. Number 62. A woman called the front desk 17 times during a 2-night stay to complain about different things, including the shape of the door handle, the angle of the bathroom vent, the texture of the soap, and the existential emptiness she felt in the room. The hotel offered refunds, upgrades, and changes to multiple things. She declined everything and demanded they do better at understanding suffering. Number 63. The final complaint came from a guest who called to say that the entire hotel experience had been too much of an experience. He claimed that the existence of the hotel, the staff's presence, the rooms themselves, and the service had all been overwhelming and demanded compensation because the hotel had been too much there. He wanted the hotel to provide an experience of staying in a hotel while somehow not experiencing anything at all. And he wanted this non-experience to be cheaper than a regular room. What we've witnessed here isn't just a list of complaints. It's a cultural artifact documenting the precise moment when human entitlement completed its full orbit and began colliding with objective reality. These aren't people with legitimate concerns or reasonable expectations. These are individuals who have somehow internalized the belief that the universe should reconfigure itself to match their inner emotional landscape, and when it refuses, they frame the refusals as personal betrayal. The common thread isn't that hotels have actual problems. It's that a certain segment of humanity has decided that discomfort, any discomfort, real or imagined, is now a service failure. They've decided that physics, basic economics, logical constraints, and other people's rights are all negotiable, and that the job of a hotel is to negotiate them away. Here's my question for you. Have you ever witnessed a complaint this absurd in person? And more importantly, be honest. Have you ever caught yourself thinking something that approached this level of ridiculous, even for just a moment? Drop your answer in the comments. Rank which complaint offended your sensibilities the most, and let me know if you've seen worse. And if you made it all the way through this descent into madness, please like and subscribe, because clearly, you have a high tolerance for humanity's worst impulses, and I respect that.